My name is Nathan, and in 2020 I worked overnight security at an older office building in downtown Chicago. The building had 10 floors, but after 8 p.m., almost everyone was gone. My job was simple: sit at the front desk, check cameras, sign in the cleaning crew, and do patrol every hour. The only floor I hated was the 4th. It actually looked boring. Gray carpet, glass office, old motivational posters in the break room. But the 4th floor always felt occupied, even when it wasn't. My coworker Darius warned me about this during training. He told me, don't acknowledge anyone you see there up there after 2. I laughed because I thought he was messing with me. Then he said, I'm serious. If someone is talking to you from the conference room, keep walking. I asked why. He said, you'll know. A few weeks later, I was working a night shift. At around 2:15 a.m., I checked the cameras and I saw a woman standing there on the 4th floor, near the conference room B. She looked like an office worker, white blouse, dark skirt, and hair tied up. She stood facing the conference room like she was waiting for someone to let her in. I checked the sign-in log. No one was supposed to be upstairs. I took the elevator to the 4th floor with a flashlight and radio. When the door opened, the hallway lights flickered on automatically. The woman was gone. I called out, security, is anyone here? No answer. I walked to conference room B. The door was closed, but the lights inside were on. That was strange because the lights were motion activated. I opened the door. The room was empty. On the table, there was a single yellow sticky note. It said, you're late, Nathan. I backed out of the room so fast, I hit the wall behind me. My name was on my security badge, but I have been alone in that room. Nobody had been close enough to read it. I radioed the front desk, forgetting nobody else was working. Static answered. Then a woman's voice came through. You're late. I ran back to the elevator and pressed the button. The doors immediately opened. Inside was the woman from the camera. She stood in the back corner with her head lowered. I didn't step in. The doors closed. I took the stairs down 4 floors without looking behind me once. The next morning, I told Darius everything. He looked tired, not surprised. He said years later, a woman named Melissa Grant worked for a law firm on the 4th floor. She was known to staying late. One winter night, she collapsed in conference room B during a late meeting that no one else attended. Her body wasn't found until the next morning. Darius believes she was still waiting for that meeting to start. I know how that sounds, but that's the conclusion I've came up to. I don't think Melissa was trying to hurt me. I think the building repeated the worst night of her life over and over, and anyone working nights became part of it. I stayed at that job for another month. Every Saturday at 2:15 a.m., conference room B lights came on by themselves, and I never went back to check. My name is Alicia, and this happened when I worked the night shift at a small roadside veterinarian clinic. The clinic handled emergency calls after hours. Most nights were quiet, but some people brought in their injured dogs, cats, and wildlife hit by cars. I worked with a vet named Dr. Miles Carter. He was practical, calm, and not a kind person who believed in ghosts. The clinic had 3 examining rooms and 1 back treatment area. Behind the building was a fenced loading bay where they kept bins, cages, and supplies. Bay 3 was an old storage bay. Nobody liked going near it at night. There was no dramatic reason. It just felt wrong. Around 1:30 a.m., Dr. Carter went into the surgery room to check on a dog recovering from an operation. I stayed at the reception doing paperwork. That was when the phone rang. I answered, Northside Emergency Vet, this is Alicia. A man whispered, my dog is outside. I asked him if he needed help bringing him in. He said no, he won't be coming in anymore. Then the line went dead. Less than a minute later, I heard scratching at the back door. Not a knock, scratching. I went to the security monitor and checked the cameras facing the loading bay. There was a dog standing outside Bay 3. It looked like a black labradoodle, soaked wet. Even though it hadn't rained that night, it stood perfectly still, staring at the back door. I called Dr. Carter. He came out, looked at the monitor, and frowned. Where's the owner? The camera showed no person. Dr. Carter grabbed the slip lead and opened the back door. The second he did that, the dog vanished from the monitor. Not ran away, vanished. Dr. Carter stepped out, annoyed, thinking the cameras had glitched. I watched him walk back towards Bay 3. Then I saw a man standing behind him. He was near the fence, wearing dirty work pants and a high visibility jacket. His head was tilted down, his hands hung at his sides. I screamed for Dr. Carter to come back inside. He turned around. The man was gone. Dr. Carter came back pale. He said he heard a dog whining inside of Bay 3. That made no sense. Bay 3 was locked from the outside with a padlock. We went together to check it. As we got closer, the whining turned into scratching. Something was inside. Dr. Carter unlocked the padlock. When he pulled the door open, the bay was empty except for old cages and boxes of cleaning supplies. But the cement floor was wet. In the middle of the wet patch was muddy paw prints. They led from the back wall to the doorway, then stopped. Dr. Carter didn't say anything for a long time. Later, he had told me that he's been in an accident years before. A local man named Peter Walsh brought in his dog after being hit by a car. The clinic was closed at the time, and Peter walked outside the back entrance, banging on the door for help. The old night vet had fallen asleep in the office and didn't hear him. The dog died before anyone opened the door. Peter died in a car crash a few months later. I asked Dr. Carter if he thought Peter was haunting the clinic, and he said no. He thought the dog was. In his opinion, animals don't understand death the same way we do. Maybe the dog kept returning to the last place it thought help existed. Maybe Peter came with it because guilt never left him alone. I don't know if this is true, but it's the only explanation that felt close. After that night, I started leaving the back porch light on during my shifts. I also kept the water outside of Bay 3. I never saw that man again. But twice before I quit, I found the bowl empty by morning, with wet paw prints dried on the concrete beside it.